Joining us now, though, is Senator Scott Surovell. Hey, Senator, great to have you with us.
Hey, gentlemen, great to be on the show again. You left out that I assume Stanley's going to be bringing some moonshine to your suite.
I don't think he's going to come. Is that the stuff he makes and he puts in the jar?
Franklin County is world famous for its moonshine. My family's from Franklin County. I know all about it, and I guarantee you Bill knows where to get it.
Well, we'll have to. The last time I was at his house, they served me something. They took it out of a drawer. It was in a drawer. This is no BS. It was in a drawer, or a cabinet. I don't know where it was. Like, it was in a drawer. They took it out. And it was in a jar. I don't know how long the jar was there. And they said, "Here, drink this." And the next thing I knew, I'd fallen asleep for the entire night on their chair in my suit and tie. I had all my clothes on, and it was 6 a.m. and I had to get on the air in like 5 minutes. But I was all dressed, so I just got up and turned on my remote. I don't know what was in that jar, but I slept in that chair all night, passed out. Anyway, we're going to the
best show you ever had. I mean, and stuff clears your head. I mean, maybe if they had more than that at the advance, they'd get better ideas. I mean,
well, it's we do have. Look, the Republican Party of Virginia. We have. Here's the things that we have. We have an answering machine. We have a postal permit. We paid the renewal fee on it. We have a Mr. Coffee Maker from 1984. We have that.
Mimeograph machine.
Yeah, but you have to have that ink in it, and the handle on it came off, so we don't have that. But we do. We did just get a new beeper, so I can give you their beeper number, 1-800-LOSE-RACES. And we have a new incoming minority leader at the House of Delegates, Scott, and he's really going to turn things around. Todd Gilbert. Actually, it's the Adams family. He's from the Adams family. Lurch. He's going to be the new minority leader. He's going to raise a lot of money because you go in his office and he's got clippings of people he hates. So it's called the hate wall, the Todd Gilbert hate wall, right? First one up there, Joe Morrissey. The first time he's got to go to Morrissey and ask for something, and anybody else he hates. So he's going to be hating people, going to be hating on people. But he's going to raise a lot of money. People are going to be falling all over themselves to give Todd Gilbert money. I mean, especially when he comes at you, like Big Todd. He's got the skinhead and everything. And look, if there's anybody to lead us out of that wilderness, it's Todd Gilbert. Hey, if you can't win, just hate more. That's the new mantra. Scott,
I get along with Todd. I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Now, I just don't think he's the right image for a party that's in perpetual decline. But that's just me. Right. That's just me. Now, let's get to guns. SB 16. Your majority leader, Dick Sazlo, the Godfather. This is quite the little gun thing you got here going on, Scott. Let's see, AR-15. If you own one of those, you're going to be a felon. If you own a clip with over 10 rounds, you're going to jail. If you own an automatic pistol that doesn't meet their standards, you're going to get it confiscated or worse. Sazlo came on my show and he said, "We want reform, not a revolution." Do you really think if you pass SB 16 or one of these gun bills that takes all these guns away from people or turns them into felons, you really think this is going to fly in Virginia?
Yeah, well, I think the Republican Party chairman needs to send Dick Sazlo a thank you note because the things that need to get fixed in this bill have done a wonderful job to build some really good Second Amendment supporter lists for all of us. I've been getting a lot of email about this bill. There's no question that the bill needs some tweaks to it. I'm not a gun expert, but I've had some people tell me that they think the bill probably criminalizes about 95% of guns that are currently on the street. I've had some people email me that, and depending on how you read it could read that. I don't think that was the intent. I think one part of the bill says if a gun is capable of accepting a magazine with more than 10 bullets, then it's illegal. I think most guns will do that. That's something that definitely needs to be fixed. the bill also doesn't have any language in it about grandfathering or surrendering or anything else. I mean, I'm not sure it was intended to create a surrender system or go as far as it actually did. I mean, it definitely needs some tweaks. And I don't think, the caucus's intent, the caucus hasn't sat down and figured out all this stuff yet. And so people are putting in bills, and, it's hard to it's hard to get all this stuff together when you're scattered all around the state. But, I mean, that bill as it's written right now is not going to pass. It's going to definitely need some changes. Because I can tell you that the caucus is not going to, the majority in both chambers, in fact, I don't think would vote to ban, most of the guns in Virginia. I mean, even basic hunting rifles can accept magazines that take more than 10 bullets. And I don't think anybody's intending to take away guns that are used for hunting. I know some people hunt with AR-15s. They should be, well, they can do whatever they want, but I don't think you need an AR-15 to hunt. So.
All right, so Senator Surovell, it sounds like what you're saying is that as written, as is, you are not going to support Saslaw's SB 16 gun restriction law, and you're saying that the way it's written now, it would potentially criminalize 90% of all Virginia gun owners. Is that what I've heard?
I would not vote for it as it's written right now. The emails I've received say that. I have not. It's a very long bill. I have not read it super carefully, but the criticism that I've read about it does not seem to be entirely off base. And if that's what the bill in fact does, it bans every handgun, and if it bans every hunting rifle, and it accepts a magazine, that's something that has to be fixed.
Here's the problem. Honestly, Scott, and this is why I wanted to get you on today, and we're good friends, and I value your judgment, and you're always honest and candid, and I appreciate that very, very much. But this is a bill written and put forth by your incoming majority leader, and I like Dick Saslaw. He's a friend of mine. But this isn't like a bill coming from Mark Levine in the House that everybody laughs at, right? Because it's Levine. I mean, this is your majority leader, right? This is a serious legislator, a serious 40-year veteran in Virginia putting forth a bill, and you look at this thing, and the way I read it, a lot of the stuff that you said is in there, but it's being put forward by your incoming majority leader. Don't you think that in and of itself is an issue on how the new Democratic majorities are going to be branded right off the bat? Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the way the bill drafting process works is you call up legislative services, you tell them to draft a bill, they give you a bill, and then you have to decide, do you want to make any changes or edits to it. The bill is a long bill. I think Dick dropped, 12 bills on the first day that we were allowed to drop bills. And I'm not sure, how carefully all 12 of them got vetted, as opposed to, I think he was probably intending to plant some flags out there to try and get ahead of some of the issues that were going to be out there for session. And my suspicion, I haven't talked to Dick about this bill specifically, but my suspicion is it just didn't get read as carefully as it should have. And, the legislative process, every bill gets changed as it goes. I mean, it's not unusual for a bill to get changed 10, 20 times before it ends up getting passed. And so a lot of times first drafts get filed. And, this is an issue that a lot of people care about, that a lot of people pay very close attention to, and so this one's getting a lot more attention than most bills get. I think that's why you're seeing all the blowback. But it's not helpful. Again, I'm getting a lot of email about this bill, and I'm in a district where I don't have a lot of Second Amendment supporters. I'm getting a lot of email about it. I was at a Boy Scout meeting last night, and one of the parents was standing outside the church before I went in. He wanted to specifically talk to me about this. Told me that he voted for me and he read about this and was really scratching his head. Wanted to make sure that I knew about it. I was like, yeah, I know about it. So it's definitely hit a chord with people, and it's unfortunate because I just don't think either caucus and either chamber would vote for something that goes this far. So, I would prefer that it got a little more vetting before it got put out there.
All right. Well, we'll see what vetting happens, and we'll see how far it goes. You know, there's going to be a component to this in the House. Mark Levine or somebody is going to drop it, and it'll probably be worse. But this is this is a battle you guys are fighting within your own party. Those that want things slow and reasonable, and those that want massive change. Like Alfonso Lopez said, he said, "Give us the majority, and we're going to do more to change Virginia in 2 afternoons than has been done in the last 5 decades." That's what he said.
Yeah,
those are his
people
words.
saying that. I know. Listen, one of the things people have to keep in mind is that the House has 2 members of the voting majority. I think Farm and Vivian. I think are the only 2, and then in the Senate, I think about half the caucus has been in the majority here and there over time. Dick and Mamie, Dick and Louise, and Janet, I think are the only ones that were in the majority for an extended period. And at the caucus, when you're in the minority, you don't sit around. When you're in the minority, you don't sit around and sort of game out exactly where the caucus wants to go precisely on issues, because you don't have to. Because a lot of the things you want to get done aren't being discussed on the floor, and so you don't have to. And so, the more we sit down and meet and talk to each other and start to figure these things out, the better things will come into focus. We just haven't had a chance to do that yet. We've been scattered all around the state. We've only had, right now, we're still just trying to figure out what committees people are on, and we had to figure out our leadership. That took a few hours, committees, and, we're just starting to get organized. And so I think things will start to come into focus as we get through this.
All right, I got to give you a text here from Eric in Richmond. Says, I have to compliment Scott Surovell. But Scott, this is not going where you think it is. It may be a piece of masterful strategy. They start off with a max gun control bill that scares everybody to death, and then negotiate down, and in the end, they get more of what they would have had in the first place. Brilliant. Eric in Richmond. See, Scott, they're figuring out your little strategy here. It's good.
I got it. You have real chess players on your.
Eric's got you figured out. All right, look, I got to get to gambling. We got 3 minutes. I know our connection's bad, but that was a deal going in. That's why I haven't said anything, because you told me it would be bad, but I want you on anyway. So let's get to gambling. Are we going to get casinos this session? Yes or no?
I think so. J-Lark report's 200 pages long. It's actually pretty interesting read. The question is sort of how we do it and where we do it, how we tax it, whether we do a separate bidding process for each casino or not. In some parts of the state, it would amount to some pretty serious jobs compared with what their unemployment's looking like. It's not as much money, tax revenue, as I expected it to be.
Right.
I think they're saying it's only about $270 or $300 million a year, I think.
Right.
It's still something. But some of these areas of the state, south side, southwest, they really need jobs and employment and economic development. And this would definitely provide. We could export some capital from Tennessee and North Carolina over the border and help employ some Virginians. And so I think that you're going to see some movement towards that. But it's a very complicated issue. It's extremely complicated. We have to make sure we do it right and don't screw up.
All right, and then the 2 big issues are, yes, we all understand the 5 jurisdictions, Bristol, Danville, whatever, they get casinos, Norfolk, Portsmouth area, maybe Northern Virginia, Richmond. But then the question becomes, what are you going to do with the Pamunkey tribes, right, that have, they have dibs on a casino? Do you give them the ability to have it also? And then the other big question is, what do you do with Colonial Downs? It came to the table, reinvigorated the thoroughbred industry in the state, brought horse racing in, took the risk, spent the money, got the slot machines through HHR Historical Racing. If they get cut out of getting a license, they effectively are on the edge of extinction, right? Because nobody's going to go there when they can go to one of the regular casinos. So you have to also deal with that issue, right?
Yeah, there's no question there's some risk there. And, Colonial Downs, those folks are actually about to open a new Rosie's up in my district in Dumfries. I don't think there's any serious talk of a casino in Northern Virginia, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what the report says. That's where the big money is. But we have to be careful that whatever we do doesn't cannibalize the lottery.
Right.
Doesn't cannibalize Rosie's too much.
Right.
There is risk there, and the report said that. And it's just something we're going to have to work our way through. But the horse industry impacts not just Colonial Downs. I mean, it goes all the way to Fauquier County.
Exactly.
Secretariat was born in Hanover County.
Right. So
we're
get
trying
it.
to revitalize this horse.
Yeah,
I do. It's hard. This is hard stuff.
Yeah. I
not
mean,
easy stuff.
you get it. 60,000 jobs were created through Colonial Downs, and it just isn't in New Kent, right? It's Fauquier County. It's Northern Virginia. It's Southwest Virginia. It's the entire industry has been revitalized. All right, I'm almost out of time. Gambling on sports, right? I know the Virginia Lottery is saying, look, let us manage it. We already have a system in place rather than DraftKings or one of these other creepy outfits. What say you?
I got no problem with legalizing gambling in sports. It's happening. It's going to be happening all around the country. It's already happened, I think, in 3 or 4 states now. The Supreme Court came down with this decision. Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards having a separate board that deals with all the gaming issues. The casinos and the gambling is a separate issue because somebody's going to have to manage the casino process and regulate it after that. It seems to me that that's more of a natural fit for the sports betting than the lottery board is.
Scott Surovell, great to have you on. I know you're heading to Richmond now for a meeting on gambling. So thank you for giving us your time when the new session convenes. The Joe Morrissey will be live every day, 10 to noon a.m. Joe won't be there every day, but he'll be live in his office. But Susan can't throw us out, Scott, because Joe can do in his office whatever he wants. So sorry, Susan. I'm coming back to the Senate. Yay. You can't throw me out. And, Scott, we hope you'll be on the Fighting Joe Morrissey show every day, 10 to noon, at the General Assembly. Your windows, ladies and gentlemen, to the world and the new majority. I know Scott Surovell can't wait to go.
I'm looking forward to the show, John. And if I'm not presenting one of my bills in committee or stuck in committee with all these new committees we're getting, I'll definitely try to make time for it. I think what you and Joe are doing is a good public service to keep people aware of what's going on in Richmond.
See, this is why we love Scott Surovell right there. See that? That was like the promo of all time, Kira. I know we have to go, but Scott's giving us the love, so we want to just keep him on the phone. Scott, we got to go, but tell the Senate, what's her name, Susan, what is she, the Senate head honcho there? The
clerk.
The Senate clerk. Tell her when you see her today, John Fredericks is coming back to Joe's office and you can't do anything about it. Sorry, Susan. Have a great day. John Fredericks coming back to the Senate. Sorry, Sue. We're in. You're out. See you later.